Good morning. Hi, Mayor, Council, City Manager. My name is Chris Harris. I am from District 9. I'm here today on behalf of Equity Action in support of all the items mentioned. I was part of a coalition back in 2019. This was a coalition of Black and brown people in this community, documented and undocumented, that came together to fight the misuse of police discretion. What we saw was that the police discretion to arrest when they had the option to issue a citation instead was used unduly against Black and brown Austinites. In particular, these are offenses that the state law permits officers to give a citation in lieu of arrest. And again, in the situations where officers had this option, they were overwhelmingly using this discretion to arrest Black and brown Austinites while giving citations to white Austinites. So together, this Black and brown coalition formed to push the Freedom City policies. These policies expressly limited police discretion in these areas, required the use of citations in these situations, and also limited police authority, or required rather police to notify individuals that they had a right not to answer questions about their immigration status. Collectively, these policies did a tremendous amount to keep people out of the criminal legal system, or at least from the worst outcomes within the criminal legal system. Unnecessary detention, search, and arrest, right? For overwhelmingly low-level offenses, right? Or for people simply going about their day to day in this community as an undocumented person. Along with this policy, which was an overwhelming success, we had monthly meetings and an unprecedented amount of transparency that came about. Regular meetings and regular reports that the police department had to provide. It was through this process that we were able to ensure compliance with it, right? To understand that police were following the policy, were issuing citations in lieu of arrest, and keeping people out of the jail. And this worked well for a couple of years. What we've seen over the last few years, after the backlash to the George Floyd protests, is a police department that is increasingly non-compliant with city resolution and policy, completely secretive about their activities. And that's despite the fact that we had over 80% of voters pass a ballot measure just last year demanding new and unprecedented transparency. So it is incredibly crucial that we restart the Freedom City reporting to ensure compliance with this. In reality, we need it for all elements of council, particularly council and community dictated police policy. We understand that the police have not been following the facial recognition policy and a host of other policies passed during the summer of 2020 and in its aftermath. And so we need whatever transparency this council can demand and enforce to ensure compliance with the rules. What we also see with unchecked police discretion and a culture of secrecy that now exists within this department is unnecessary arrests for a host of other things. And these unnecessary arrests now demand that the county offer new services, particularly to provide counsel at first appearance, to ensure that people who are brought into the jail are actually being brought there for legitimate and legal reasons, allowed by the state and by this council. And so it is really important that this city council, being the, in theory, manager of this police department, that is responsible for over 90% of the people brought to our Travis County Jail, is in support of and backing this council at first appearance, to ensure that people that are brought to that jail are brought there for legitimate reasons and remain there only because they represent a true threat to the safety of this community. Finally, we have really direct information about the consequences of this secrecy and impunity that now reigns at our police department via a lawsuit brought by a former officer, Sam Liedtke. You have on your agenda today an item to fund additional defense resources for the city against Sam Liedtke in her lawsuit. My understanding is that your city legal department has in front of it a letter offering to resolve this lawsuit for far less than it is worth. That is for far less than what the treatment that she received in exchange for a series of reforms, particularly to the training academy, a training academy that people in this community, including myself, have been trying to reform for over 5 years. Okay, but because of the police department's unwillingness to reform itself, those reforms have not been made, and so you now have a chance to really show where your commitment lies with respect to those reforms, because you can either approve dollars to go to additional defense and no reforms, or you can approve some similar amount of dollars to settle this suit and actually implement the reforms to the academy. And I want to be very clear. These reforms are the only chance if you intend to address the police staffing decline that's happened in this city. The police academy is the primary culprit for that decline. Its inability to retain recruits through the process. It's driving away recruits with its unsafe, discriminatory curriculum. And these are the things your police leadership have consistently fought to maintain at the department, and that's why you can't actually address the staffing decline that you've seen, because you cannot actually maintain more recruits than are retiring, because you have an aging force. So again, if this council cares about actually addressing that staffing issue, cares about actually seeing the reforms to the police academy, you will postpone this item today that seeks to add more money to the defense against this lawsuit, and will instead entertain this offer that has been put before you to actually see these reforms come into place, and at no additional cost to this city and its taxpayers. And so, again, I'll just conclude by saying that there are real issues with this police department, issues that people like myself and so many others here today have tried to address over the years. And we've had successes. And for many of those successes, we didn't see backsliding, because it requires constant diligence on the part of you all, as well as from the community, to keep the police following the law, right? And so it's a really unfortunate situation that we're in. And a big part of the reason that it takes that diligence from us is because we've allowed our Office of Police Oversight to become a completely ineffective office. It is now helmed by someone with no history of oversight, completely unqualified for the role, who subsequently hired nothing but law enforcement people into the Office of Police Oversight, an office designed to actually represent civilians in the process of complaints. And so as long as you have a police oversight office that is not effectively actually following up on complaints, seeing that they be investigated, that's now seen literally a single suspension or firing in over a year since a new ballot measure passed designed to strengthen the office, then you'll continue to be the main people that have to be the oversight of the police department. And so I urge you to do something about this office, to make wholesale changes to this police oversight office, or else you'll see us up here doing this over and over again for the foreseeable. Thank you.
Next, we have Sherry Taylor on item 41 with 3 minutes.